Today we're going to talk about winding yarn into a ball, yarn that comes in twist hanks. You can't knit from them until they're put into a ball. We are always happy to do this for you. When you get back to come back in the store again one of these days, if we don't offer, just ask, don't be shy. Right now we are trying to be very proactive, asking mail orders and people picking up if they want their yarn wound. If you do order online, you might shoot us a note and say, hey, please wind that. If it needs wound, that'll get us moving along faster on your order. So we don't have to hear back from you. We have some pretty cool yarn winding equipment. This is my favorite thing. We have had this, gosh, probably for at least 25 years. It's our electric ball winder. It's from a company in Italy named Simit. I have no idea how Mom found this. Back then, you didn't go online to shop and search for things, but somehow or other she found this. Simit normally does not make products for consumer use. This happened to be a home model that they made, and if I remember right, she told me that they were originally like at least $1,000, and that was 25 years ago, and wherever she found it for sale, they were closing them out, and we got it for just a couple hundred. It has been the best investment we have ever made. In fact, recently, after 25 years of winding fuzzy stuff, this area stays pretty fuzzy. I know that it comes in the motor and stuff. Fortunately, my husband, he has an auto parts store and he has a machine shop. So I brought it home one day for him to get cleaned out and service. And he goes, wow, he goes, if you ever need one of those belts, I don't know where we're going to find one, because he knows all sorts of belts. It was a very special made belt. Plus our little cone here that the yarn winds around. You should have seen it. I don't know how many pieces of tape was on it. It was all cracked. So I found the company in Italy, wrote to them in bad, you had to, in Italian, they don't speak English, in bad Google translating, and it took a month or more back and forth trying to get these parts. I had to go to the bank and wire them money. Again, this is not a company that deals with consumer trade, so they don't take credit cards. Their main line of manufacture is equipment for the textile industry. So they would make the equipment that puts things on large cones in a yarn mill. So you don't buy equipment that costs that kind of cash, usually with credit cards. So I had to go wire them the money. We eventually got the little cones and a couple little belts. And I think the shipping and the wire fee cost more than it. But either way, we're good for another 25 years to keep this baby running. I'll show you how it works. We like it for a lot of things, but if it's a large ball of yarn or yarn that's real slippery, sometimes it goes too fast and we have to wind it by hand. But for big balls of yarn, it sure does save my elbow. See? It's pretty sweet. And it just, whoops, except when it comes unplugged. Here it is. Oops. And we're back. I guess when people call me, it cuts off the recording. They'll just have to pick a number. This saves my arm. Might get like yarn winding elbow. When we first started, we were doing our Tarsia kits, and we would actually measure out exactly how much yarn you needed in each kit, because it would be very expensive to buy full skeins of yarn. You only need 3 yards to make like a cat nose or whatever picture you were doing. And so we would divide this up and ball all the skeins, and we would have a whole big system. Mom, Dad, me, that's what we spent, I don't know how much time doing, making kits for people. My dad even made a contraption that would count the yardage. I'll have to get that down for you sometime. That is a masterpiece of ingenuity on my dad's part. If this game's almost done, get shocked there. It's a lot easier than doing it by hand, and it's a lot easier than doing it by the hand winder. So we go to this one when we can. As far as equipment that you can use, we have that for sale if you want to wind your own. We have 2 types of swifts. We have this one that's got a bunch of fuzz on it here. They call it an umbrella swift because it opens and closes like an umbrella. This is my favorite kind of swift. We also have beautiful ones made out of wood, and they look really pretty if you're into the visual. But if you wind as much yarn as we do, especially with that ball winder, this one just has an easier glide and spin. The wood tends to drag with the parts, and it hurts my arm. So this is still my go-to. I think it's easier to lift and go functionally. It's not as pretty, but it wins every time. This is our hand ball winder. We have a larger one than what we normally sell in the store because sometimes we have to wind, mega size skeins. If you wanted a larger one, we'll be happy to get one for you. Last time I checked price on those, they're around $100 or more. So they're quite a bit more expensive than the regular size models we normally sell. But for our purposes, we have the big one. So that way, if you have a super skein, we can wind it. One thing that's important when winding yarn is, you notice, don't ever cut these ties until you get it on the Swift. I've had people help me before and they think they're helping by snipping these. I'm like, stop. Because one thing I check is to make sure that the yarn isn't crossing those ties. As long as the yarn is tied right from the manufacturer, you should be able to line it up so that there's no strands going over those ties. I get it on the Swift, that way I can check and make sure it's in a perfect circle. Then I snip them off. And then it will go smoother. Hopefully we won't get in a knotted up mess. Now sometimes perhaps they didn't get tied right or something happened, and you've seen us, if you've been in much, we'll be here forever trying to wind your yarn. Then this just goes, whoops, through the eyelets. Normal ball winders only have this eyelet and this one. This one has two. I think it's designed for twisting, but we've never used it for that purpose. And then we just turn. You just have to want to be sure and hold it. That keeps it from jumping around and catching stuff. And that's how our hand ball winder. I'm going to leave you with a video that we made a long time ago. We made our Learn to Knit DVD. I think it has Carrie in it because she is the queen of this, is how to wind a ball, a center pull ball by hand. Carrie could, we'd get yarn that would fall apart. She could put them back just like they came from the factory. And so we've got, instructions on how to do that. So watch this.
Wind the tail several times around your pinky finger. Then continue wrapping the yarn around all your fingers to form a small bundle. After you have a sizable bundle, begin winding the yarn loosely across the top of the bundle. Continue winding at an angle, moving around the ball as you go. When you come to the end of the yarn, tuck the ending tail under one of the outside wraps.